All right, next one, distribute before anything else. Distribute on both sides. So on the left, 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 5 is 20. On the right, negative 4 times negative 2x is a positive 8x. Negative 4 and a positive 5 is a negative 20. So notice my coefficients are both positive 8x, so they match. But I have a positive 20 and a negative 20, so my constants do not match, which means my final answer here is no solution at all. Done. All right, for the word problems, make sure you define your variable. This one says Miss McCall and her 4 friends went out to Village Tavern. The bill came to $85. So there's my total. I'm going to highlight that. If each person paid $12.50, so each person $12.50 for dinner, and each person ordered dessert, how much did each dessert cost? So I'm going to use C, and that's going to be the cost of each dessert. You can use whatever letter you would like. All right, C, cost of each dessert. My equation here, remember you always want to equal your total, your leftover, your final answer. So in this, our bill came to a total of $85. Super important. You can never have your variable by itself when you're setting up the equation. Now this one's a little tricky. So we know there are 5 total people that went to dinner, right? Because it was Miss McCall and 4 of her friends. That's 5 total people. So each person bought a dessert. So 5 people each paid C amount of money for a dessert. Now the other number is not going to be $12.50. This is where it's a little tricky. This said each person paid $12.50. So in order to figure out the cost of just the dinner portion, we have to do $12.50 times 5 before we can write the rest of our equation. So 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 5, 25, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, carry a 1, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So my other number should be $62.50 here. So be careful on that. A lot of people miss this when setting up their equation, which will then throw off your answer. So now that I have my equation set, I am ready to solve. I'm going to start by subtracting 6250 from both sides. Make sure you line up your decimals here. Then we're left with 5C, and when you do this subtraction, you should get 2250. Next step, isolate your variable still. You need to divide by 5. Divide by 5. When you do this, you should get C equals 450. So the cost of each dessert would be $4.50. All right, next one. Lucy spent half of her birthday money. She then got her weekly allowance of $7.50. She now has a total of $22.36. So a couple things I'm going to highlight. My total, she got her allowance and she spent half of her birthday money. So my variable, my unknown is, I'm going to put M, and that's the birthday money. So first things first, I like to put my total before anything. So what she has now is $22.36. To start, she started with M amount and then she gave away half of it. So her birthday money was divided into 2, right? So M divided by 2 shows her spending half of her birthday money. And then if she got her weekly allowance, that means she gained $7.50. So there's our starting equation. From here, let's solve. Start by subtracting 750. Make sure you line up those decimals. Bring down my M over 2. When I do this subtraction, you should get 1486. Next step, multiply by 2, multiply by 2. We're left with m equals, when you do this multiplication, you should get 2972. It's a word problem, so don't forget your units. So my total, or her birthday money, was $49.72. Done. All right, this next one, your answer or your problem is correct. Mine is wrong on my screen. I just need to add that negative in front of that 15. So your problem should read negative 3x is greater than negative 15. In order to do this inequality, we need to isolate our variable just like we've been doing. In order to do that, I need to divide by negative 3 here. Negative 3x divided by negative 3, I'm just left with x. Negative 15 divided by negative 3 is a positive 5. And since I divide it by a negative, remember we have to flip our sign. So we should have x is less than positive 5. Because this is a less than sign, our circle should be open on our graph. And then x is less than 5, so we are drawing our arrow to the left. So make sure your circle is open on your graph and your arrow is going left. All right, next one, same idea. We have to isolate this variable in the inequality before we can graph it. Two ways you can solve it. You can either divide by negative 1/2 on both sides, or you can treat it like clearing fractions, which I'm going to do. And I'm going to multiply by negative 2 on both sides. When I do that, I'm left with just x on the left, and then 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4 on the right. And then since I multiplied by a negative, I need to flip my sign. Now that says x is greater than or equal to negative 4. So I'm at negative 4. It needs to be a closed circle, and x is greater than negative 4, so I need to go to the right. So closed circle, arrow pointing to the right. All right, same thing. It's just a two-step problem this time. So subtract 2, subtract 2. We're left with 4x is greater than or equal to 16. Divide by positive 4. So x is greater than or equal to 4. No need to flip the sign here because we did not multiply or divide by a negative number. So we need to show x is greater than or equal to positive 4. Go to positive 4, should be a closed circle going to the right. So closed circle, arrow pointing to the right. All right, next one's all we have to do is solve the inequalities, no graphing. So treat it just like a two-step equation. I'm going to subtract 0.6 here from both sides. Negative 1.2 minus 0.6. If I keep, change, they would have same signs, add and keep. So I get 1.8, but a negative. Keep my greater than or equal to, and then we have 0.3x. On the right, next step, divide by 0.3. So we should be left with negative 6 is greater than or equal to x. No need to flip the sign or anything because we did not divide or multiply by a negative. Next one, I don't like fractions. I'm going to get that out of here. You could distribute if you wanted to work with that fraction. We only have one to look at, so I just need to look at the one denominator that I have, which is 3. So I'm going to multiply everything by 3 to get that fraction out of here. So 20 times 3 is 60. Keep my sign. 2/3 times 3 over 1 would just be left with 2. And remember, you cannot multiply anything inside the parentheses. We can't touch it. So x minus 4 just gets brought down. Now we distribute. So bring down our 60, bring down our sign. 2 times 1x is 2x. 2 times -4 is -8. Now that's just a two-step problem. We can solve. Add 8, we get 68 is less than 2x. Divide by 2, divide by 2. I'm running out of room, but that should be 34 is less than x. Done. Next one, treat it just like a two-step equation. We got to get rid of that -2 first. So I need to multiply by -2 on both sides. So when I do this, 23 times -2 would be -46. And then on the right-hand side, that -2 is now gone. So we can bring down our d minus -9. Now our sign needs to flip since we multiplied by a negative number. So be careful on that. Next thing we need to do, I'm going to keep change to get rid of that double negative. So when I rewrite this, -46 is less than d plus 9. Now we just solve. So subtract 9 from both sides. -46 minus 9. If I keep change, same sign, add and keep. That would be -55 is less than d, which is my final answer here. Last but not least, it says Miss Townsend is making brownies for her class. She has to make no less than 28 brownies. This includes a brownie for the 4 other math teachers. Write an inequality to represent this situation. I'm just going to use the variable x, might as well. So my key word here is no less. Key words, key phrase, no less. And then we're looking at 28 as our total. So 28 is going to go all by itself on one side. I have to make no less than 28. So that means I can make 28, so it could be equal to, or it could be more. So no less than 28. So the amount I make for the students is going to be x, or Miss Townsend makes for the students, plus the 4 she makes for the teachers. So x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 28. If I simplify this, minus 4, the amount of brownies, x is greater than or equal to 24. So she needs to make at least or no less than 24 brownies for just the students.